Running. So this is surprise live stream number 2, and I'm doing it on this, which is my Monday evening, September 19th, Monday. And the reason why I'm doing it on a Monday evening is because I had the day off today. So, so this is the live stream in that way. So I don't know if I'll be up for very long, but it is getting a little bit late. But I did want to try it because I usually do live streams at kind of the same time, which is like 7 a.m. But I wanted to try it at a different time just to see if anyone who's in a different time zone wanted to check it out. So anyway, I will be up for not so long because it's around 10:50 p.m. where I am. And so I do want to maybe I might get to sleep a little bit, watch something beforehand. But before I go, I just wanted to stop by because I do enjoy the live stream format. It does provide me the opportunity to talk with people like you, my dear friends. So if you want to stop by or if you want to leave a comment, please feel free to do so in the live chat. I'll try to respond to as many as I can. And we can go from there. So, my dear friends, so Zachary Bryant is here. Hello. Matthew Lockwood is here. Hello. Jacob Story Gilland is here. I hope I pronounced that correctly. So, Jacob, hello. Ghost is here. Hello. Amadeus is here. Hello. As YRS, what do you think about Departures 2000? So I know you spoke about that YRS yesterday in the live chat, if I recall correctly. So Departures, this is the Japanese film. Is that the film that you're referring to? If so, then I thought it was very, very powerful. Right. Tsutomu Yamazaki. In any event, thank you very much. I'm sorry I didn't respond to you yesterday. I hope you can forgive me, Wire. But thank you very much for stopping by. And let's see, Amadeus is in Singapore, so hello. Chung Link is here, hello. Finn, hello. Armand the Vampire, hello. It's nice to see you. And A Ghost says, I missed the last one by a minute. I'm very sorry. Yes. And Seamus M is here. Hello. Armand the Vampire is in Sweden, so it's nice to see you as well. Thank you very much for stopping by. I do want to say, too, that yesterday I was so lucky to have been able to get a number of, what is it called? Super chats through the live stream. So I just wanted to say thank you very much for those, and I will use those to maybe get the Kino releases of the 4K releases of the Stanley Kubrick films. Some of the early Stanley Kubrick films that were recently released by Kino on 4K releases. So I was wanting to get those, but just not sure when I could. But I think I was able to, through the kind donations of a number of viewers in the previous live stream, I think I'll be able to get those titles. So I want to say thank you very much for that. It's really helping me quite a lot. Now again, there's no requirement at all to make any type of, say, monetary donation to me or this channel. Not at all. So please don't feel that you need to do that. I always make my videos open to everyone who might be interested to see it and stop by. So, but I am very appreciative of the sentiment, and I'm very appreciative of this receiving this. So thank you very much to all of you who have done so, or who have expressed this type of willingness, or just said that to me, or did something to me in that way. So thank you very much. As I say, everything will go towards new Blu-ray releases, which again, it helps me to get an extra 2 or 3 Blu-rays that I otherwise wouldn't have been able to get. So I'll be able to get at last those Kubrick 4K releases, which I hear are really good. So very excited, very excited about those and the like. So thank you very much for that, my dear friends. Thank you. Let's see. Ariane Amadi is here. Hello. Gleaming TV is here as well. Mark Sebring is here. It's nice to see you. Nicholas S. Says greetings from Sweden. Love your channel. Thank you so much. Thank you. It's so nice. It's very kind of you. Thank you. Davy Dread is here. Hey, Dice gets nice. Katarina is here. Hello from Paris, from Paris. Oh, it's nice to see you. So I would love to visit Paris again one of these days. I went there many years ago. Oh, many too long ago. I've always wanted to visit again, but I need to improve my very terrible and rusty French. I studied French when I was when I was a student, but I've forgotten most of it, unfortunately. What is it? Yes. Je ne peux pas parler français très bien, so I don't know. But in any event, Paris, thank you very much for joining. And Mark is in Seattle. And A Ghost says, by the way, Daisuke, I just finished Superman 1978 based on your recommendation. I freaking loved it. So you watched Superman the movie. So this reminds me, thank you very much. So once again, just in case you're interested, Superman the movie, we will be discussing this in a live chat or live stream that will take place on this channel in Tokyo time, Sunday, September 25th, 7 a.m. Tokyo time. So whatever that time is for you in your time zone, if you can make it, I'd love to see you there, my dear friends. We will be talking, yes, as A Ghost and others have mentioned, Superman the movie. And here is I love this film so much, and I also have this set here, Superman set. Oh, it's so great! It's really great. Can't wait to talk. And A Ghost, thank you so much for letting me know. Very kind of you. I'm so glad that you enjoyed it. Yes, it's so great, isn't it? I can't wait to talk. So if you can join A Ghost and others, please, I'd love to hear your thoughts about it. But if not, you can don't let me know now. I'd love to hear about it. While I might not necessarily talk in detail about it, I want to save my details for the actual live stream discussion. I'm very happy to hear your reaction to it anytime, Indy. So thank you so much. Let's see, Oshi or Oshi, I hope I got that right. Thank you so much from Canada. So thank you so much for joining. I hope you're well. YRS again. So Decision to Live, I haven't seen it yet. I haven't had a chance to see it yet, unfortunately. If I'm able to figure out what the theater showings are, the release schedules, I'd love to try to catch up, but not yet. The releases, the way the release schedules for recent releases work. The schedules are usually different than schedules, say, in other parts of here in Japan than in other parts of the world. So it's not always corresponding to the same schedule. But I'll try to catch up with what I can. Salem Kasab is here from Mexico City. It's nice to see you. Home Videos is here. It's great. Yes. Let's see. Do I have any memories related to the monarchy, films related, or memories related to the monarchy, or any films related to royalty? I don't know. I'm not so good when it comes to like, I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe a film that comes to mind perhaps immediately is the film The Queen, which I saw in the theater, and I thought was a really there's a scene with the main character in like there's a road, or there's like like out in the countryside, and she's alone, which I thought was a quiet and powerful moment of like introspection set forth in the grandness of the solitary nature of the outdoors. So it was really quite fascinating. And But yes, I understand what the recent news is, of course, and the developments of British history and royalty and the monarchy that's happened. Of course. So it's a yes. So thank you very much for that comment. And then Catherine says, bienvenue. Thank you. Merci beaucoup, mon ami. Jacob Provenzano says, hello from New York, US. I love your channel enthusiasm. I just recently bought and watched Lawrence of Arabia 4K for the very first time and was floored. I came in a beautiful steelbook. You know, I love Lawrence of Arabia, and it has that great. It's such a classic moment, right? Early in the film, the match and the light. It's fantastic. Yes. All right. So I'm glad you enjoyed it. Well done. Well done. Let's see here. And Amadeus says, you mentioned Stanley Kubrick, and it reminded me I recently picked up the Stanley Kubrick DVD collection for about $20. So well done. Great. Dan is here. Hello. Let's see. Mark is talking about my shirt. Oh, thank you very much. This is a Godzilla shirt that I have. You can't tell, but it's a Godzilla t-shirt. Let's see. Chunling says, I'm going to get myself the French Blu-ray of The Bullet Train. Oh, so this is the film, The Bullet Train, which is the Japanese kind of disaster film, right? If so, then well done. I'm very excited. I hope I got that. Is that the film that you're referring to? I hope so. If not, please correct me. Eric Pieper is here again. Hello, it's nice to see you. Let's see. Dan says, would be surprised if the next batch of Criterion announcements, yes, maybe referencing the funeral. Yes. B Collis 1202 is here. Hello. Seamus M says, random, but I would love to hear you speak on the Gamera film soon. And Shin Ultraman. So yes. So Shin Ultraman. So I managed to catch up with that. Yeah, it's really great. And then Gamera. So that was one of the things I always wanted to do too, which is a discussion of the Gamera films. There was a great release of Gamera films by Arrow. Arrow does a really excellent job, really excellent job, and so they did a great release. I'm actually, yeah, it's right here. It's right here. What am I talking about? It's right here. So you can't see it, but it's right here. I have it. I should have it more on display, I suppose, but this is I'll just put it up here so you can kind of see it better. So it's a great set. And yeah, so I don't know if, again, so many things I always wanted to do, but it's difficult. But I'll try to talk about it if I can. But thank you very much for the encouragement. Really great. Let's see. Just scrolling down. If I skip over your comment, I apologize. Just scrolling down here. Let's see. Amadeus asking you about Pale Flower. You know, I've spoken about the film Pale Flower in an early video that I did when I first started this YouTube channel. So a few years ago. I think it was something, I want to say, like I was trying to do a format which was called 5 by Criterion. So it was just like a discussion of 5 randomly selected films from the Criterion collection. I think in one of those was a discussion of Pale Flower, I want to say. So I'm so sorry. I can't remember offhand. I don't remember I don't remember all the things that I've spoken about, to be perfectly honest, off the top of my head. But I think Pale Flower was discussed in one of those. So if you're interested, you can check that. And I'm thinking, yes, it was discussed in one of the videos. I forget exactly where, but it should be in the description box. So maybe if you do a search of it, in fact, maybe I'll try to do a search for it right now. Let's see where it is. Let's see. Just hold on for a moment. And then again, if you're interested, if not, that's totally okay. Whatever works for you, my dear friends. But let's see. Okay, here we go. Pale Flower. No, it doesn't show up. Oh, interesting. Okay. Why doesn't it show up? I'm gonna try something else. Oh, it should show up. Maybe it's, oh gosh, 5 by Criterion. I think it's one of the 5 by Criterion videos. So sorry, I can't. It doesn't pull up immediately. I apologize for that. But let's see. Okay, so Mauricio Murga Silva Santisteban. So I hope I pronounced that correctly. It's nice to see you. What's the secret to have a lot of money to buy movies? I don't know. So I don't have. I wish I had more money. I'm not so well off as I'd like to be. Physical media I know is somewhat expensive, maybe relative to other modes of home media consumption, especially nowadays with say subscriptions to streaming services and the like the Criterion channel or something. So, but I have a kind of regular paying day job, and so I have a little bit of monthly spending money that I get from that out of the overall family budget. So it's not so much, and I also get some money through the YouTube channel, but it's certainly not a type of amount that is a lot of money in the grand scheme of things. I wouldn't be able to quit my job over it, for example. But so I get a little bit of spending money through that. So, but again, I don't think it's always about what you're interested in, and it's always about what your own cinema journey is. And I love physical media, don't get me wrong, and I love collecting, and I think it's really fun, and it's a very great way to experience cinema. I really do enjoy it, and I love the aspect of the tangible, palpable quality of the physical media releases. I really do. But it's not. You can enjoy cinema in your own way, really, and there's no. It's not. You don't have to get all of the titles that have ever been released. You can do it in a way that works for you, and you can get so much out of it. And when you get out of it in that way, and you're able to, say, for instance, experience that and then share it with me or with others, that is its own reward. It's really such a beautiful thing. It really is a beautiful thing. So please enjoy films in a way that works for you. And if there's a release that might be a little bit expensive or something, that's okay. That's okay. Don't worry about it too much. There's always a way to try to find those films that you're looking for, and maybe along the way you can find some great discoveries. So that's my way of trying to say, try to just enjoy it in your own way. And that's, I think, a really great thing. So if that way involves physical media, great. If it involves another method, great. Keep on doing it. So well done. And if you want to talk about cinema, you're always welcome here. And there are many other places online, of course, that talk about films in this great way. Much better than me, of course. But anyway, thank you very much for stopping by, and warmest regards. William Tatum is here. Hello, it's nice to see you. And let's see, just scrolling down here. Sorry, I'm skipping over a number of comments. I apologize. Let's see. Let's see here. Matthew Lockwood mentions Tampopo. Let's see. Dan mentions recently picked up a bunch of titles while on holiday in Cornwall. One Night in Miami. Oh, Menace to Society. Final Fantasy VII Advent Children 4K, Lego Batman movie for Boogie Nights. Oh, great. Deluge is here. Yes, it's nice to see you. It's nice to see you again. Yes. Oops. Oh, no. Skipped. Sorry. There you go. Davey Dredd asks, do you have a collection of film scores or soundtracks? And is Superman the movie one of them? So I don't have that big of a collection of cinema, say, soundtracks. I have my share, mostly on CD, some on vinyl record, but not many. Unfortunately, Superman the movie soundtrack is not one of them. I'm very sorry to say, but so I do have a number of soundtracks. Yes. Um, let's see. Oh, Amadeus, you found the video. Great, thank you so much. I'm so glad you search much better on my channel than I do. So thank you so much for that. You know, I'm kind of I'm really very I'm very honored because it's so many people support the channel and have watched the videos and mentioned to me sometimes years after the fact about a video and something that I might have mentioned. And I'll be honest, it's always hard for me to remember exactly what I mentioned. So that I go back and watch it. Oh yes, I said that. That's right. So I'm always so honored that people are paying this type of attention to what it is I might have said in past videos that are on this channel. So thank you so much for that kind attention that you give here. I am not at all deserving, really. But you know, with that said, I'm very honored by that. Thank you. Thank you very much for finding that. Again, you know how to find the search of the videos better than I do. So well done. Yes. Um, so scrolling down, let's see. Um, oh, Chunlink, yes, confirms this the film. So it has Ken Takakura and Sonny Chiba, right? So I actually spoke about that film in a series that I did several months ago. Was it last year? I want to say it was the series I did, which was 1970s disaster movies, like one for like 30 days of disaster movies. So I did like a video a day for 30 days on a randomly selected disaster movie from the 1970s. And I think one of them was, in fact, yeah, The Bullet Train. So if you're interested, I mean, I spoke about it in very general terms, nothing too specific. You know, it wasn't like a plot detailed analysis of the film or anything like that. But it was a reference to, it was a reference to, it was a reference to, yeah, the film. So I was glad to be. I don't have the. You mentioned the French release. I don't have the French release. I have the Japanese Blu-ray. The Japanese Blu-ray I don't think has English subtitles, but it's really nice. It's a great film, very exciting. Um, let's see. Nicholas S says today I ordered Night of the Living Dead from Criterion. Not I want. So this is the Night of the Living Dead. So this is in reference to the upcoming 4K release of Night of the Living Dead, right? Which is going to be in October. Or is it the current Blu-ray release? I mean, in any event, it's a great film. So it's a classic. You know, I think I spoke about that film in a live stream, but I want to say that I might want to revisit if I can at least that trilogy. I mean, I know there are other Dead films by Romero, but the great George A. Romero. Yes, but for the longest time before the release of Land of the Dead, it was always the trilogy of films: Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, and Day of the Dead. I think I've spoken about Dawn of the Dead in a general manner, but I always wanted to talk about it specifically. Oh, gosh. And Day of the Dead, too. Oh, my gosh. Oh, no. Again, so many things I want to do, so little time. My goodness. Oh, Timothy's here, my dear friend. Thank you so much. It's nice to see you. Lonely FNM, it's nice to see you. Mars and Worldwide, hello. Oh, great, talking about Adventures of Superman. Wow. Um, let's see. Let's see. Dan is making reference to the recent announcement by Criterion of the release of Wall-E in November. Yes. Lonely FNM. Cholet. Yes. Yes. So Cholet. So, oh gosh. I have the DVD somewhere on the shelf. That is a really that's a magnificent work. I've never spoken about Cholet on this channel. I saw it for the first time when I was in college, and then I was so taken by it. And then sometime later, you know, maybe a few years ago, in fact, I was able to find the DVD of it online, and I ordered it. It was through Amazon or something, and so it was wow. It was again to revisit that film. Yes, yes. So and it's you know, it's I'm very 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 terrible with my knowledge and experience when it comes to cinema of India. But you know, this was recommended to me when I was a student, and it was just, gotta see this, you gotta see this one. So I said, okay, I'll see it. And wow. So I don't know if I'll have the opportunity to talk about it. Maybe I should try, maybe next year when I do another 31 days of something, I'll try to figure out a series where maybe I can find a way to talk about this work, Cholet. So thank you very much. Oh gosh, skipping around, I apologize again if I'm skipping over your comment. I really, please forgive me. I don't mean any. I don't mean to offend. If I do offend you, I apologize. Let's see. All right, scrolling down. William says, I recently watched the Sergio Leone film Once Upon a Time in America and was absolutely blown away. I would love to see it get a Criterion release sometime in the future. Yeah, so that is an immensely complex work. That is a very complex work, and it's quite challenging in terms of perceptions of character. When I say perceptions of character, I mean that in a very multi-meaning way, because I'm talking about perceptions of character, how characters perceive the world and events around them, and also as how we as viewers perceive the characters, even when they might do things that are very morally abhorrent and despicable. So how we handle that as well, and it's done in this Sergio Leone epic style that is going through time and space, like it's going through time and let me borrow a phrase from the film Goldfinger, Sean Connery's James Bond 007 Goldfinger. You know, it's going through, Sergio Leone goes through in Once Upon a Time in America, time and space like a blowtorch through butter. Really, it is something of a type of a miracle, in that by the end of the proceedings, and I'll try to be as vague as possible, one is still left questioning, am I seeing what it is I think I'm seeing, or is this all a type of illusion or magic trick? Wow, yeah, so well done. Yeah, well done, William. Let's see. Oh, God, let me see here. Stoffel Waffles here. Hello, it's nice to see you. 123 Rock fan asks, do you like the Criterion cover for Wall-E? I think it looks a bit strange they turned Wall-E into a cardboard cutout. So yeah, I'm okay with the cover art design. You know, generally speaking, I'll say that I'm usually okay with cover art design work. I know sometimes cover arts, it's a very I think a very important topic among Criterion Collection fans, and I think rightly so. I think it's deserving of all of the attention that it gets. I usually am okay with cover art designs. I'm usually not. I usually don't go and talk too much about the cover art, because while I enjoy the cover art designs, and I really do, I enjoy the cover art designs very much, and I enjoy that discussion. So I usually am not. I usually, how should I put it? I'm usually saying I like it, that sort of thing, and just kind of enjoy it as I see it. So, and I always, was there any kind of cover art design where I was totally disappointed by? I suppose not. Although I think the one thing that I'll say about Criterion cover art designs is I just wish that they would avoid maybe even artistic depictions of sort of nudity. I have nothing against nudity per se. I mean, I watch films, and oftentimes there are films that have nude scenes and sort of very explicit scenes of, say, human sexuality and things. So I'm okay with that. But I kind of want to say, for instance, I'm thinking of the great film, David Cronenberg's film Crash. And the great release, I love that film. I think it's a film that's not for everyone. It's a film that is, it's what it's one of the most brilliant um, uh, distillations of David Cronenberg's aesthetic that I feel exists. It's really quite remarkable, and I admire the film immensely. Um, it's a very intense film. It has a lot of scenes of sexuality, human sexuality, that certainly aren't for everyone. I really wish that the Criterion cover art didn't include kind of shot of human nudity as it does. As I said, I have nothing against nudity, but I just wish it wasn't on the Criterion cover art, you know. So I remember when I did the discussion of that, I had to turn the cover over because I wasn't comfortable with showing it. I wish that those sorts of choices could be avoided. But you know, I have nothing against the cover art per se. It's just being on the cover. That's all. Because I think if it was in the inside, or if it was in the booklet or the leaflet or something, I think that would be totally fine because it's not out in the open, as it were. So. Those points aside, I think generally speaking, I'm usually okay with cover art design. So I wasn't feeling in any way feeling anything for the Wall-E cover art design, except just generally speaking excited for it. But you know, if you feel that way, that's totally fine. Not a problem at all, my friend. Not a problem at all. Buck Bella's here. Hello. So checking in before my road trip today. Oh wow. So have a very safe and fun road trip. You mentioned Peckinpah. Oh, very interesting. Sam Peckinpah. You know, I was making a video earlier today, a few hours ago, and I was referencing Sam Peckinpah's The Wild Bunch. I wasn't talking about The Wild Bunch per se. I was talking about a completely different work. The video will be up in October. But in that discussion, I was making reference to a shot in that episode where you have characters that are walking in a scene, much like the characters walk in the film The Wild Bunch. So very interesting. So yes, thank you very much. B Collis 1202 asks, what's my favorite film from the 2020 so far? I'm so sorry. I wish I could answer fully. I can't say. I am not good. I haven't seen that many films from the 2020s, to be perfectly honest. So I really can't say. So I'm sorry. I don't mean to avoid the questions. It's really, I really can't say. That's also a way to say that I'm very poor when it comes to watching recent releases of films. Also because it's a little bit difficult for me to go to the theater. And also I'm not, I don't watch a lot of films, say, on streaming as much as I really should. You know, and also I don't have this. My brain isn't. I don't know what it is. I don't think of it in terms of like 2020s. Like it just seems so. Like I think of recent films. For me, a recent film is something like from the year 2000, like 2001 and beyond. That to me is a recent. I know it's not. I know it relative. It's not. But for my age and my own perspective, that's how I feel. Recent films, so like I don't know, like I consider Batman Begins as a recent film, or The Dark Knight as a recent film, or something like that. But so my perception of time is very skewed in that way. So I apologize. So I really can't answer the question. It's a great question. Thank you so much, but yeah, I'm not so prepared for it at the moment. Let's see. Joshua is here. Hello, it's nice to see you. Extended edition of Lord of the Rings and the Criterion Raging Bull. Oh yes. So extended edition. I love those extended editions. I love those. I love the what they do with certain character arcs that you don't see in the theatrical version. I love the theatrical version. I saw them in the theater many times. It was so exciting to see the films, the Lord of the Rings films. You know, to this day, I get chills. I get chills when I watch Helm's Deep. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Yes. Oh yeah. I remember the theater was cheering. Oh, so great, so great. Anyway, What was I saying? So yes, well done. And the Criterion Raging Bull. So Raging Bull Criterion is probably for me. It's going to be up there, and whenever I do my top 10 Criterion releases of the year, favorite Criterion releases of the year, it's up there. I might be spoiling, but it's up there. It's really remarkable. It's a remarkable release, really remarkable. So I hope you enjoy it, my dear friend. Um, let's see. Dan says, if you could only keep one movie in your collection, what would it be? I don't know. That's a really difficult question to answer. Depends on my mood. Maybe it would be something like, I don't know. I don't know. Gosh. Oh my goodness. What would it be? A film that I can watch over and over again that gives me joy every single time. It would either be choice, maybe, I don't, it's hard to say. Something I can watch over and over again. I love A Brighter Summer Day, but that's a film it's hard for me to watch a lot of times within a singular period. You know what I mean? Because it's very dense and it has an effect on me where I watch it. I can't, like, I'm thinking about it, but I'm thinking about it in a way that I can't watch the film. You know what I mean? It's not to say that I disliked it. But I love the film. I love the film. But if I'm thinking of answering the question with a film that I could watch, on a loop, as a manner of speaking, maybe. Oh gosh, I don't know. My answer might change in an hour, but I'll say Big Trouble in Little China. Let's see. Katerina mentions, Pasolini's work Salo is in the cinema. Oh yes, and making reference to a video that I did about the discussion of it. So thank you very much for referencing that. That was it's a very difficult film to watch, and I acknowledge that. And I think it has this reputation within the context of the Criterion Collection. I think it's a film that gets a lot of, say, attention in terms of like jokes and stuff online. So I totally understand that, and I'm totally happy. That's fine if people have that reaction to the film Salo. That's fine. I usually don't respond to kind of jokes about Salo. It's fine if people make. I know you're not making a joke about it, Katrina. I know that, but I'm explaining it in this way, which is I don't usually respond to kind of jokes about that work because I don't know. I'm not really. I don't see it in that way. I see it in a way that it's like it has a certain type of power, and it has a certain type of message or set of messages that is really speaking to a type of a kind of almost indictment, if you will, of a certain type of political structure or set of structures that the artist Pasolini seemed to identify, both in the context of 1940s and also in the 1970s. So, and I'm not at all a type of a sociologist or a political scientist or anything like that. So I'm very much approaching it like from an amateur perspective, from an amateur. I'm not a historian, but from my limited perspective, I regard that film. I don't watch it often, but when I do watch it, I try to. I feel its power, and I feel it's a scathing indictment of certain political classes in a way that and it's using direct imagery. It's using imagery in a very direct way, and it is in many ways the ultimate. It's using the metaphor of the disgusting, but it's using it not for the sake necessarily of showing the disgusting or reveling in the disgusting per se, but really indicting the disgusting. So that's how I see it. So in that way, I find it to be, it's a very powerful work. Again, not for everyone. It doesn't have to be for everyone. No one is. You don't have to enjoy or watch the film if you don't want to. So, but if it's something that is engaging for you, then that's yes, that's something that is worth discussing, I think. So, Katerina, thank you very much for the comment and letting me know. Very appreciative. Thank you. YRS asks about piracy. What do I think if it's? I don't usually like to. I don't usually personally. I don't usually like this concept very much. But I don't go out how should I put it? I don't mean therefore to say that no one, you are not allowed to do it. That's how I feel about my own consumption of cinema. But how you consume it, that's your choice. Whatever it is you choose to do, I have no comment on that. So whatever you choose to do in terms of how you consume and watch cinema, that's yeah, that is your own choice and that's your journey. So you do what works for you, and that's how, yeah. So sorry, I don't mean to be very brief about it, but it's something that it doesn't necessarily work for me personally, but I don't have any strong passionate feelings about it when it comes to other people's cinema journeys. Let me put it that way. So, Timothy asks about the new Dune film. Yeah, so I was able to catch up with it rather recently, and not in the theater, unfortunately, but I was very impressed by it. So, let's see. Um, so many questions. So thank you very much. I'm so sorry. I can't. Maybe my answers are not so good today, and it is 11:30 p.m. So I'm gonna have to maybe leave very soon. So sorry about this, but thank you very much for joining so far. I'll stick around for another maybe 10 minutes or so. Thank you. Um, let's see. So there's mentioning here about the Dead films, the Romero Dead trilogy. Again, the trilogy before Land of the Dead and Dire of the Dead, and yeah, so um, yeah, yeah. Let's see here. Uh, oh, oh, oh. Diogo Lima's here. Hello, it's nice to see you. And mentioning like long days journaling tonight. Yes, long takes, long takes. So I'm there. I think I'm very taking with like the very famous long takes. I think one of my favorite ones is from a film called Touch of Evil. That's a very famous one. I think that's so clever, so cool, and so part of the plot. And it's you get that's amazing, absolutely amazing. And there are different versions. One can watch that film and still enjoy that in terms of music or sounds, etc. So yeah. So I don't know if it's my absolute, but it's one of my favorites. That's for sure. Um, all right, thank you. Okay. And then YRS talking about Beyond the Infinite 2 minutes. Thank you very much. Thank you for this. Steve Moody oh, hello, Steve Moody is talking about Dog Day Afternoon. Well done. Cameron Barber says, Greg Araki. Oh, interesting box set. Very interesting suggestion. Yes. Well done. Well, A Ghost says, what is your biggest film blind spot? I think perhaps at the moment for me is it's the Marvel films. So I really want to catch up with the Marvel films, but I haven't been able to. I have nothing against it. I think they're very. I mean, I remember seeing Iron Man in the theater, and that was with right back in the day with Robert Downey Jr. and Jeff Bridges, and I was very entertained by it. And then I tried to see Iron Man 2 in the theater, but I wasn't able to catch up with it, and I couldn't catch up with some of the other films as they were then released, and just became this thing where, like, it becomes a type of investment. If I go in one area, I have to try to catch up with all the other films, so that it's a kind of time investment. So I've been holding off on that, although I hear elements of plot and stuff. So, I did see the Spider-Man films because my son loves Spider-Man, and so we saw the Spider-Man. What was it? What was it? Well, oh gosh, I always forget. Homecoming was Far From Home and No Way Home, and so I know that there are connections with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and so I can kind of get those connections. Although I don't, to be perfectly honest, I don't catch all of the references, unfortunately. But I think that didn't prevent me and prevent us, my kids and I, from enjoying the films. I enjoyed that film very much. The last film was really, that was really great. I enjoyed that immensely. I didn't quite get all of the references, but I thought it was really quite fun. Um, so that I also saw, I know it's not a Marvel film, and it's not a blind spot because I saw it, but it was the film in the theater, which was, what was it called? The Batman. And I was very taken by that. Although I was well, yeah, I thought it was this huge epic, and it was there were these. I love the scenes of just I love the scenes. It was incredible how I was captivated by Batman walking. There are a lot of scenes of Batman walking around, and there are of course a lot of action scenes. But I was so captivated by Batman like walking slowly and Batman sitting down and talking. I was just so amazed by how enthralled by those scenes. And Batman standing and talking, Batman walking and walking silently, Batman sitting silent. Oh, it was really cool that way. So, yeah. So anyway, sorry about that. But thank you very much. Let's see. So scrolling down here. Sorry. The Cinematheque asks, do you have a favorite and least favorite Criterion release 2022 so far? Let's see. I would least favorite. I mean, I don't know. I think in the grand, I'm just the shelf. I'm looking at the shelf of the Criterion releases here. I think if I were to describe, let's see. I wouldn't necessarily call it least favorite, because I think the release of Drive My Car is really great. But in the video discussion I did, I think there was a mistake, a typo, that the Criterion Collection sub-menu has in one of the supplements. And if I don't, I could be wrong. Maybe I'm wrong and the Criterion Collection description is right. But if it is indeed a typo the way I think it's a typo, it's actually that I was actually disappointed by that typo. I was very disappointed by that typo actually, because it if I'm correct, it mistakes a person's name. It identifies someone by one name, but in fact his name is a completely different name. And so if I'm correct, then I wish that it could be correct. You know, sometimes I wish there was actually sometimes you see typos. I don't mind typos of like words. I think that's okay. I like, for instance, there's some pretty significant typos in that we recognized in the one of the box sets. I forget exactly, but there's sometimes when the name is misspelled, I always hope that in subsequent releases, you know, second printings or whatever, those can be corrected. So I wasn't disappointed in the film itself, Drive My Car. I think it was a really great release. It's a great film, but I just wish it didn't have that typo. So again, if I hope I'm wrong, I hope that that it is not a typo, and if that's the case, I'll be very glad to be corrected. But that's maybe something that I would consider to be somewhat of a disappointment. But as far as my favorites, I would say, I don't know if it's ranked lists per se, but I can say off the top of my head, I'm looking at the shelf as well, things like Pink Flamingos and Raging Bull and Frownland. I was so impressed by Frownland. I was so surprised by that too. And Girl Can't Help It. I think that's a really great one too. But we'll have a list at the end of the year in December going forward. So, all right. Brandon Lee, give me a random Criterion recommendation to watch this week. Are you asking me or asking other people in the group? I don't know if other people in the group have already answered. Well done, wonderful. A random one. I don't know. Gosh, let me just look at the shelf here. There's the shelves here. Let's see. Oh gosh, let's see. Random one. Tuki Buki. I think Tuki Buki is one that is deserving of as much attention as it can get. So that's my recommendation. Well, I have spoken about it on the channel too. So, Archangel, thank you. What's your opinion of ranking films? I think it's a really great way of conveying information. It's a very difficult thing for me to do personally, because I always find I'm changing my mind. But I think it's a really good way. It's also very easy I don't, well, easy, I think is not the right word. It's when I say easy, I think it's a very easy and accessible way for people to learn about other people's tastes in films. You know what I mean? So, and I love those ranking videos that people make on YouTube, for example. Those are really cool. So, All right. Dirt Block Games asks, is there a difference in film directors that are popular and highly regarded within Japan compared to those that have gained international success? Oh, yes, I think so. I think, um, yeah, maybe it could be said that maybe directors that have an international acclaim may not always necessarily have the same level of acclaim within Japan for whatever reason or another. That's for sure. But I think that's true for any country, really. Not necessarily exclusive to Japan, but definitely true for most, if not all, countries and all regions of cinema. All right, so oh, Archangel, thank you very much for the super chat. Thank you, I very much appreciate it. Thank you, lovely. Thank you. Just click here 3. So it's asking about Children of Paris, Les Enfants du Paradis, and so I haven't spoken about this yet, but it's yeah, it's one of the most oh gosh, it was when I first saw it in many years ago. It was one of the most incredible viewing experiences of my life at the time. So and it has come up recently too, in terms of the context of, say, the release of Hôtel du Nord, the recent release there, Marceau Carnet. So I hope you enjoy it, my dear friend. Yeah. Kang Pam is here. Like you, since your Kiki's Delivery Service review and you're passionate about film art, that was amazing. Oh, thank you. Yes, Kiki's Delivery Service, or Majo no Takyubin. So I'm very appreciative. Oh, in fact, actually, if you're interested, maybe if you don't mind, I'm just step away for the second. I'll just step away here, and then I'll be back in about less than 15 seconds. So hold on for a moment, because speaking of Kiki's Delivery Service, let's see. Yes, I was in the neighborhood in a bookstore, and I was there with my kids, my wife and my kids. We were out, and then we went to a bookstore nearby, and I couldn't resist. You can get these in Japan in bookstores and stuff. Playing cards, Studio Ghibli playing cards, and so I couldn't resist. So I finally got the playing card set. It's a full deck of Kiki's Delivery Service Majo no Takyubin playing cards. So I was very happy. It comes in this plastic case. I haven't know, but I just got it yesterday, in fact. So I was thinking, oh, it would be cool to play cards or play solitaire with these Kiki's Deliveries of Majo no Takyubin playing cards. So I'm sorry, I can't quite open the case right now, but you can tell that's the Joker card, and that is the back of the card. So this is right, Gigi. So this is what's on each of the cards. So it's very cool. So it's a great coincidence. Thank you very much. What a wonderful coincidence. I love that film. Kiki's Delivery Service Majo no Takyubin. I love that. I love the version with Kirsten Dunst and Phil Hartman. I love the Japanese version. Oh, it's great. So let's see. So oh gosh, it's already 11:40 p.m. So I'm finding that I have to wake up for work tomorrow. So let me just scroll down here. I'm gonna skip over some comments. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry about this. Thank you very much for stopping by again for the surprise live stream. I'm very appreciative. So just going to sorry, but I'm skipping over so many. Sorry about this. Sorry. Let's see. Ian Druk is here. Hello. Samuel Parks is here. Hello. Let's see. Oh God, I'm so sorry. So sorry, my dear friends. Sorry about this. Mikhail Krillo is here again. Nice to see you. So, mentioning Terayama's Throw Your Books Rallying the Streets. Terayama is yes, another filmmaker whose works that I worship. Even the quote unquote minor works, I worship. I have never spoken about Terayama's works in detail here. They are very challenging. Again, not for everyone, and in some respects, they can be quite controversial. But they are very profound from certain perspectives. So I've never one of these days maybe. Oh, Ethan is here. It's nice to see you. It's nice to see you. Samuel Parks with a super chat. Thank you so much, Samuel Parks. Thank you. It's very kind of you. This will go towards another Blu-ray purchase, hopefully later in the month. So thank you. GMAC is here. Hello. Oh, it's nice to see you again. I'm so sorry. I'm skipping over some comments again. It's getting a little bit late here, so I might have to go to sleep very soon. Let's see. Sorry about this. Let's see here. Oh, it's a public holiday in the UK for the funeral. I see that. Okay, that I understand that. Yes, it is a day of national mourning. Of course, of course. My warmest regards and deepest feelings of condolences. Yes. Um, let's see. I'm so sorry. Just scrolling. Romero Flores is here. Hello. It's nice to see you. All right. Let's see. Schlock Horace here. Hello. It's nice to see you. It's always great. It's fixed thing. Twilight Zone or Outer Limits. Both. I love both. And the original, yes. I was able finally to get those Blu-ray releases of the Outer Limits. So I was very happy to have gotten those recently. That was before I moved. Actually, that was one of the last things I was able to get before I moved from my old place to my new place. So let's see. TQE. Those Akira comics are so sick. Oh, thank you very much. Yes. So this is the Japanese comics. So I read these so many times when I was so young to the point where they fell apart. And so a little bit later, I bought them again because they fell apart. So I lost some of the pages of my older copies, but they you can still buy them in kind of like general bookstores anywhere in Japan. So they're really wonderful. So they're very dense, very dense indeed. So great stuff. So thank you very much for recognizing that. Let's see. So Luca Zach Forever is here. It's nice to see you. Yes, that's great. Nice to see you. The Fira Vis Karan, again, please pardon me for my poor pronunciation. You say, hi, Daisuke. I've watched for many years, but this is the first live stream I've caught. Oh, well done. Thank you. Thank you. What do you think are genres of film, horror, sci-fi of Criterion that you think maybe are often neglected? I don't know if I would call it a genre per se, but I would say that generally speaking, the areas of cinema that are generally described as silent film, I think could get more exposure in the Criterion collection. Also, the area of cinema and the arts that is generally described as animation. I understand animation is itself a wide, vast category. Well, not even category. I mean, category. I don't think does it justice. It's a wide, vast universe in and of itself. I get that, but in a very general sense, yes, I think their animation could get more representation than it already has in the current Blu-ray DVD catalog. Animation, I think, I think it had some really good representation during the LaserDisc days. In fact, Criterion and the Voyager Company, it had some really great titles, experimental titles and the like. So really cool stuff. Aardman animation is great, but yeah, I think in the current catalog, I think you could get more, and that was actually part of the discussion when we were talking about the recent release announcement about Wall-E. So that was something that came up. So let's see. Yes, Liam Frober, thank you. There were some typos in the Godzilla set. Yes, that's right. Yes. I love the set. I love Criterion. I love the set, but I don't know if in any subsequent editions they've corrected those typos or not. I'm not sure, but like names of people were, I think, at least as far as I understood it, if I'm correct, names of certain people that were off. So I wish those could, or I wish I could be corrected and say that no, in fact, Daisuke, you're wrong, and in fact, we actually spelled it correctly. So I would be happy with the latter any day. I would be happy to be said that I'm totally wrong. Oh gosh, I hope so. Mauricio asks about slip covers, so I might say something. I admire slip covers very much, but I don't always have to get the version with the slip cover all the time. If I happen to get it, that's fine. but usually it's a kind of random thing. I usually can't control what I'm being sent if I'm ordering it, like say through Amazon overseas or something. So sometimes I'll get the slipcover version, sometimes I won't. So um, I've kind of gotten used to that, and so, and also it's hard for me actually to deal with slipcovers. I don't know about you, but like there's a thing where you, like, I put the slipcover on, but there's a point where sometimes it gets caught, and so I'm not good with putting slipcovers back on. I'm good with taking them off, but I'm not good at putting them on. So sometimes they get caught, so I kind of have to push them in, and I know that's probably not good. I know there's probably a way to ease them in smoothly, but I haven't been able to find. So I'm actually not so good with putting on slipcovers, and so that's probably one of the reasons why I don't mind not having the slipcover version. Of course, it's fine. I'm very happy if it exists, but it's not totally necessary. Although sometimes if I'm intent on getting, there's, maybe there are exceptions to the rule, of course. It's not a hard and fast rule for me, but if I can get the slipcover, if I had the choice, slipcover or non-slipcover version in front of me, then I'll opt for the slipcover version. That's for sure. Let's see. Scrolling down. Let's see. Sorry about this. So, Gerald is here. It's nice to see you. Thank you. Thank you so much. You leave a super chat. Thank you so much. This will go again towards a Blu-ray release later this year. Later this month. Thank you so much. That's very kind of you. And you mentioned to the LaserDisc collection. So, I hope that you enjoy your LaserDisc collecting journey. It's always a lot of fun. Many discoveries to be had, all over, all over. So thank you. Omesh is here again. Thank you so much. Thank you. Let's see. Jonathan is here. Hello. Thank you. And Jeremy B is here. Hello. Thank you so much for stopping by. Let's see. Tales of Vladimir. Hello. It's nice to see you. Isaac, he is here as well. Thank you. Let's see. Jeremy B, thank you very much. The TV show Succession. So I haven't seen this TV show Succession, unfortunately. But you ask about, do you like watching TV shows? I don't have the opportunity to watch so many TV shows. But there is a TV show that have I spoken about any TV shows on this channel? Have I? Maybe I've spoken about one briefly. Like I think about the Twilight Zone, kind of in general, or I spoke about a show called Tales of the Unexpected in general, but not in a kind of episode by episode by episode thing. That will change in October. So in a couple weeks from now, on this channel, there will be a series of videos where we'll be talking about a TV show, a very special TV show that has a number of seasons. And the plan is to talk about that series in an episode by episode discussion. So we have one video per each episode of this TV series, which we'll be talking about a little bit more in October. So if you're interested, I don't want to say what it is. I don't want to spoil the surprise. Although if you follow me on Instagram, you probably know what I'm talking about already. So yes. So anyway. Oren, so thank you very much. Oh, Phase 4, yes, from the other day. You mentioned you were going to watch that, so thank you so much for that. Let's see. Let's see. Oh gosh. Oh yes, more animation. Yes. Here we go. So okay, so I'm so sorry. I don't. So I'm gonna spell out the name here, if that's okay. So I hope I don't mean any offense at all by this, but I do want to say hello. So SHITTELEVISION. So thank you so much. Thank you for your comment. So you say thank you so much for your comment. Your videos are always so interesting and turn me on to new stuff all the time. Thank you so much. Thank you again. I'm so sorry. I don't mean any offense. I tend to I don't mean any offense at all. Thank you so much for stopping by and the comment. So SHITTELEVISION. So thank you so much. I was talking with a friend of mine the other day too. Again, I was talking about this October project and talking about this TV show episode by episode. And I love this TV show, by the way. And it's a TV show that has so many quotes So many quotes that I wanted to reference, so many great pieces of dialogue that I want to reference. But it has, when I get to that discussion, again, I don't mean to be vague here. I so much apologize for being vague here, but there is a line of dialogue in this TV series, or this series overall, that is probably one of my favorite lines of dialogue ever. But it has kind of profanity in it. So I'm debating in my head whether and I don't usually like to talk using swear words. So I don't mean any offense to anyone, but I just usually don't do that. But I might want to make an exception for this line of dialogue because it's one of my favorite lines of dialogue ever. But it has a number of swear words in it. So I'm debating in my head whether I should say that in the video or not. So I don't know. I haven't made a decision yet. So thank you so much. Yeah. Um, anyway, it's yeah. Anyway. All right. So, oh gosh, let's see here. All right. So, Zay Modernos, it's nice to see you. Yes, speaking of Daddy Longlegs. Oh, yes, I just saw that recently too for the first time with the Criterion. It was wow, what a film, what a film. Yeah. And Davey Dread, Daisuke, a live stream discussion on your favorite Inspector Morse episodes would be. I can tell you right now, my favorite Inspector Morse episodes off the top of my head are, let's see, Second Time Around. That's with Kenneth Cawley, and that's a great one. That's probably my favorite episode. And with Christopher Eccleston, right? That's a really great one. Second Time Around, and also another one is Dead on Time. That's another great one. I love that one. And also, what's another one? Gosh, off the top of my head. Let's see. Oh gosh, I think those are the two that come to mind immediately. So Second Time Around, and yeah, Second Time Around is probably my favorite Inspector Morse episode ever. And there's the use of the opera music, right, Suor Angelica. It's really quite remarkable indeed. So just hold on for 1 second. Let me just put the plug in the computer. Just give me 1 second here. Sorry about this. And 3%. So I don't want to lose power. There we go. Great. Okay. Sorry about this. And I'm back. So let's see. So it's not a live stream, but I'd love to talk. I was thinking one of these when I love Inspector Morse. I mean, there's some episodes that are better than others, that's for sure, and some episodes I think are kind of not so good. Like what is it? There's an episode called "Settling of the Sun," which I don't really like at all. There's also the episode Service for All the Dead, which is an early episode based on Colin Dexter novel. In fact, that is magnificent. It's like a horror film as well. It's really creepy. So Service for All the Dead. Have the character like you see characters like Max and everything like that. So I like that one very much. I do like I have some issues with it, but I think also the final episode, which is called The Remorseful Day, is very memorable for a number of reasons. I love the Inspector Morse series very much. John Thaw is right. It's one of the great ones. Yeah. Anyway, I'm so glad you mentioned. I'm someone who asked about Inspector Morse. Yes. Well done, Davey Dread. I will now, yes, forever remember you as being. Oh, you are the person who asked me during that live stream about Inspector Morse episode. So thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, that's great. Let's see. NV is here. Is hello. It's nice to see you. You say the videos you make are so interesting. Well, thank you very much. Thank you. I'd love to watch them. I was wondering what are a few of your favorite David Lynch movies. Okay, so David Lynch films. We can. There's a David Lynch film that's behind me, which is called Twin Peaks: Fire Walk with Me, which I think is probably that could be my favorite David Lynch film directed film. I mean, there's so many. I mean, I love Mulholland Drive. Mulholland Drive has one of my favorite lines of dialogue ever, which is, "Don't drink all the Coke." Oh, I love that line. And I remember seeing Lost Highway in the theater, and you know, I know, right? Oh gosh, I just was floored, and just was stunned. And I can't wait for Lost Highway to be released in October from the Criterion. I can't wait. I have like, I don't know. I have 4 copies of Lost Highway. I have the DVD. I have 2 Blu-rays. I have 3 Blu-rays, and I don't know. So many copies of Lost Highway. Now this will be my 5th version of Lost Highway. It's amazing. What a film that is. That is an intense film. That is an intense film. But as Jack Nance says in Lost Highway, I like that. So yeah, it's a great film. Wow, it's a great film. Oh, I can't wait for October. And to watch that one. Incidentally, the Lost Highway Blu-ray release in Japan, the Japanese Blu-ray release, also has a disc for Dumbland, the David Lynch series Dumbland, which is also a very fascinating series as well. But what was I saying? So Twin Peaks: Fire Walk with Me, I think, is probably my favorite. Yeah, that's probably my. Although, I love them all. I remember when I first saw Eraserhead as a kid, it was like, um, how should I put it? It was like someone opened up my head, took out my brain, switched the sides of the brain, and put it back in, and it sewed my head up again. I was that confused and that overwhelmed. It was like my brain became mush. But that's a great thing about David Lynch films. It's like you just let go and you become part of the experience. And so, and then I remember, oh gosh, yeah, Dune. I love David Lynch's Dune. I think it's so weird. It's so, there's so many kind of oddball moments that are brilliant. Um, and I like, whenever I go to the dentist, I always and I open my mouth and to let the dentist inspect my teeth. I always think of I always think of David Lynch's Dune. I know it's the scene that you can see and or you can from the source material, but I always think of David Lynch's Dune and the tooth. The tooth. I don't have anything in my teeth that is in any way similar to what is inside one of the teeth of one of the key characters in that film, and indeed the story. So I don't claim to have that type of capability of my own teeth. At least I don't think I do. But yes, whenever I go to the dentist, I always think of David Lynch's Dune. In a good way, of course, in a good way. I mean, I have nothing against going to the dentist. In fact, I enjoy going to the dentist, in fact. Because I feel refreshed. My mouth feels refreshed after I go to the dentist. And I love that feeling of having a feeling of refreshment. And so that combined with recalling the scene from Dune makes the visiting to my dentist a very pleasant experience all around. And I mean that sincerely. Yeah. I mean, there are many other films. I remember seeing The Straight Story in the theater. It wasn't there weren't many people in the theater when we saw it, but it didn't matter. It didn't matter. It was just great. Like there's a moment where it's all about that's a film where you're talking about the journey. It's all about the journey. And there's a shot of the lawnmower, and it says so much about that film and what it means in terms of the journey and the road less taken, in a manner of speaking, right? Yeah. And then I remember seeing Inland Empire in the theater at what was it, the IFC Theater, right, in New York. I remember seeing it like a number of times actually, yeah. there's some moments that really freaked me out. Really freaked me out. That's a great one. That is a great film indeed. The stuff about Bucky and On High and Blue Tomorrows and yeah. Oh gosh. Inland Empire. Wow, that's a discussion I'd love to have on this channel one day. That's for sure. All right. So what is it? Oh, it's already midnight here. My goodness. Oh gosh. Time for me to go to sleep. Yes, gotta go to sleep. All right. So thank you so much for your time, everyone. So if I missed, so Callum is here, Jared is here. Thank you. If I missed your, I missed your comment. Thank you so much. If I missed your comment, I apologize. I very much apologize. Yes, Katarina mentions Elephant. Yes, Elephant Man. I think I spoke about Elephant Man in a video on the occasion of the Criterion release some months back. So that is a powerful. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh gosh. Yeah, overwhelming, very emotional experience. Very emotional experience. I'm not, I think to Fire Walk with Me, Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me is one of the most emotionally intense films, and indeed, um, I know it's a pretty intense work, but I don't want to say too much about it. We might talk about it later. But in any event, I believe too that in many similar it has similarities with the Elephant Man. I think is word. And also I was talking too about Blue Velvet. Speaking of Dean Stockwell and the tooth from Dune. Of course, I owe David Lynch and Blue Velvet many heartfelt thanks for all eternity in terms of turning me on to the music of Roy Orbison. And ever since that, I was so smitten. I discovered Roy Orbison. I was a kid, but I didn't grow up listening to Roy Orbison. I only became enamored with Roy Orbison after watching Blue Velvet. I think. I mean, who wouldn't, right? After watching that great scene, right? So I remember, right? But in fact, actually, I was I really liked the song that it was one of his final songs before he passed away, which was "You Got It." I love that song, and uh, uh, like uh, you know, right. I can't do the Roy Orbison voice, obviously. I'm not very good with that impersonations, but I love when he sings in the song "You Got It." Baby. I love that very much. I'm sorry. Please, I have ruptured your eardrums. I know, so I apologize. But right. Um, right. Every time I hold you, I begin to understand. Everything about you tells me I'm your man. Uh, right. And what does he say in that lyric? Do I have that right? One look from you, I drift away. Oh yes, when I was a kid, and I mentioned this before about songs. I was very shy when it came to girls and talking with girls, and if there was a girl that I liked, I would be so shy I would never be able to even look at that person, right? But I would be so interested, wanting to say hello, wanting to just, I don't know, just make some kind of connection. So, songs like "You Got It" or songs like "Crying," um, Roy Orbison, or "Pretty Woman" or "Oh Pretty Woman" would just be songs that would give me that little bit of confidence. And "You Got It" was one of those songs that I'd listen to as my CD Discman. I mentioned my CD Discman sometime, but that Discman really came in. It's saved me on many occasions where I was able to summon up enough courage to talk to people that I might have had. I was maybe I had a crush on or something like that. But yeah, yeah. You know, yeah, Royal. What was I mentioning? Oh yes, a Blue Velvet. Yes, of course, Blue Velvet. Yes. Here's to Ben. Right. Be polite. Yes. Here's to Ben. Right. Candy colored clown they call Sandman. Right. All right. So, okay. All right. So I'm gonna go. I have to go to sleep. I'm pretty. Oh. So you want? you want the Seamus wants the close up of the shirt. Okay, so here's the shirt. So I'm gonna stand up slowly because I'm sitting on the ground here. But that's the shirt, right? So Godzilla. There we go. I hope that's okay. There we go. So that's the Godzilla shirt. And let's see. All right. Six is here. Hello. It's nice to see you again. Let's see. Evan Storlian, thank you so much. An Mensch, thank you very much for stopping by. I hope Livid, Lyvid, is here. Thank you so much for stopping by. If I skipped over your name, I very much apologize. It wasn't my intention, but I hope it's okay. Thank you very much for stopping by this live stream discussion, or the surprise live stream. I really appreciate it. Appreciate your time as always. Let's see. Callum Chung, yes, Patrick Stewart running into battle with a dog in his arms. Yes, and also apparently the plumes of smoke that were in certain battle scenes, right? Apparently it was very taxing on the lungs of the people who were on location, right? According to those great supplements that you can find on the Dune releases, including the Arrow release, which is one of the great releases, by the way. Yes, you know, right. There is a right. David Lynch, and he appears in Dune, and he appears. I love it when David Lynch makes an appearance. Right. What does he say in one of the episodes of Twin Peaks? Right. What does he say? He says, and again, my very bad David Lynch impression here, but I say, massive quantities, or something like that, right? Or, yeah. Twin Peaks. I don't want to say any more about that. Twin Peaks. We might talk about it a little bit later. But in any event, yes. Thank you very much. Yes. Speaking of dreams, speaking of that Roy Orbison in Dreams. I guess I wish I don't want to think about that song. I don't want to think about dreaming that song in the context of Blue Velvet. Actually, that's quite a frightening moment. Actually, so I hope I don't dream about it in that context. I hope I dream about it in other contexts because I think it's a great song. But in any event, yes. Thank you. I'm gonna head off to sleep now, and the like. So thank you so much. Very, very appreciative. Thank you very much for this. Oren Thorne with the great comment maybe towards the end here. I was just thinking about how much I love John Borman's Zardos. Yes. I think it's I saw that as a kid on British TV. And there were so many things that were so perplexing to me about that film when I saw it. And the way it was handling, for instance, human sexuality and myth and legend in a way that was very kind of eerie and almost spooky, but also it was quite fascinating in a number of ways. So I guess I see it through that experience of watching it as a kid, again catching up with it on TV. And the same, and also actually that was when I was in England. And also speaking of another John Borman film, which is called Exorcist II: The Heretic. I might have mentioned this in some other. I think I mentioned it in that discussion I had with Tanner, the horrible show. We were talking about Exorcist films, and I was mentioning how when I was living in England in like the early '90s. This was around the period, I don't know about now, but at that time you couldn't see The Exorcist. It wasn't available. You couldn't watch it at all. It wasn't made available. It was not distributed in terms of home VHS or anything. You couldn't see it. Of course, I had heard about it, and I was growing up in horror films. The Exorcist, huge legend. It grew in my mind. This thing, and again, I was living in England at the time. I was living in Guildford, Surrey, and I was living in Woking, Surrey. So I couldn't watch The Exorcist, but a couple things happened. So first thing was that we were able to watch or rent the video of the film Exorcist II: The Heretic, and it was the version with the kind of the up tempo music that's over the opening credits in the Ennio Morricone score, and it's the version with the opening, which is kind of the photo montage. I think it's referred to as the international cut, I think, but it's the photo montage of the film The Exorcist. And so I remember that was essentially the only way I could see shots of The Exorcist, by watching the beginning of this version of Exorcist II: The Heretic. And so that for that reason, I would be renting Exorcist II: The Heretic a lot when I was a kid. And so I think in that way and so I know the international version more than I know what's I think referred to as the original theatrical version, slightly longer. Um, and the ending is slightly different, actually. So, and the beginning is slightly different as well. And many other parts that are slightly different as well. Yeah, so I watched Exorcist II: The Heretic many times, and it I understand its reputation as this. Some people consider it, I think a lot of people perhaps consider it to be a kind of ludicrous film, and I think in many ways that perspective holds. But in other ways too, and perhaps concurrently or at the same time simultaneously, it has this almost outrageous genius quality about it that's undeniable. It's so out there. It's amazing. And then of course later that was the first thing, and then the other thing too was um, watching the trailer on some video rental somewhere, watching the trailer for the first time of The Exorcist 3. And that was so amazing to me. And then at the time of the trailer, actually, the film was marketed as, it wasn't Exorcist 3, it was Legion, The Exorcist 3. At least that was the trailer that I remember. I will never forget seeing that trailer for The Exorcist 3, Legion, The Exorcist 3. It was, so I was waiting for The Exorcist 3 to come out on video. I couldn't wait. When would we come out on video? When would it come? And when it arrived, I was so happy. And I asked, "Oh, can you please rent this film for me?" Because I was so young. And then renting it and watching it, I was kind of like overwhelmed in this weird, perplexing way. And there are some scenes that are just, oh my gosh, it's kind of. And then years later, so somewhat recently, you had releases like Scream Factory. Speaking of Scream Factory, I think they have their 10-year anniversary today or yesterday. So congratulations. But yeah, the Scream Factory release of The Exorcist 3 with the alternate version, which I saw for the first time on that release, it was like a different experience for me. And I think I'm not sure which version I prefer. I'm still debating in my head which version I prefer more. Because I do admit I do like the way that the theatrical version climaxes with all the, for lack of a better phrase, with all the hamburger and ketchup that we see on screen. But there is something very cold and psychological about the so-called "quote unquote" director's version. I know it's not really what that is, but it's the sort of alternate, new version that was prepared to the extent possible for that release and then subsequent releases. So it's really great. So why was I mentioning that? Oh yeah, so this Zardos, yes, of course, yes, Zardos, John Borman, of course. Anyway, so sorry about this. So I'm just going completely yeah, off. I really should go to sleep. It's already it's 15 minutes past the hour. So thank you so much. Thank you. So YRS, so Severance 2020. Thank you very much for that this and the other recommendations, and also for stopping by yesterday and today. I appreciate it. And also for everyone else, thank you for stopping by. Mars and Worldwide, thank you. For everything. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much, my friends. All right, so I am out of here, and I will yes, I will see you very soon. So thank you and warmest regards. Talk to you again very soon. Cheers, my dear friends. Cheers.